गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्रजवतु गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ तच्छञ्जोरावृणीमहे गातुं यज्ञाय गातुं यज्ञपतये दैवी स्वस्तिरस्तु नः स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः ऊर्ध्वञ्जिगातु भेषजं शन्नो अस्तु द्विपदे शं चतुष्पदे ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः श्री साईश्वराय नमः हरिः ॐ अग्निश्च मजिन्द्रश्च मे सोमश्च मजिन्द्रश्च मे सविता च मजिन्द्रश्च मे सरस्वती च इन्द्रश्च मे पूषा च मजिन्द्रश्च मे बृहस्पतिश्च इन्द्रश्च मे मित्रश्च मजिन्द्रश्च मे वरुणश्च इन्द्रश्च मे त्वष्टा च मजिन्द्रश्च मे धाता च मजिन्द्रश्च मे विष्णुश्च इन्द्रश्च मेऽश्विनौ च इन्द्रश्च मे मरुतश्च मजिन्द्रश्च मे विश्वे च मे देवा इन्द्रश्च मे पृथिवी च इन्द्रश्च मे अन्तरिक्षं च मजिन्द्रश्च मे द्यौश्च इन्द्रश्च मे दिशश्च इन्द्रश्च मे मूर्धा च मजिन्द्रश्च मे प्रजापतिश्च इन्द्रश्च मे अगुंसुश्च मे रश्मिश्च मे दाकाभ्यश्च मेऽधिपतिश्च उपागुंसुश्च मे अन्तर्यामश्च ऐन्द्रवायवश्च मे मैत्रा वरुणश्च आश्विनश्च मे प्रस्थानश्च मे शुक्रश्च मे मन्धी च आग्रयणश्च मे वैश्वदेवश्च मे ध्रुवश्च मे वैश्वानरश्च मरुतुग्रहश्च मे अति ग्राह्याश्च मयीन्द्राग्नश्च मे वैश्वदेवश्च मे मरुत्वतीयाश्च मे माहेन्द्रश्च आदित्यश्च मे सावित्रश्च मे सारस्वतश्च मे पौष्णश्च मे पात्नीवतश्च मे हार्यो जनश्च मे ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Let us all be together. Let us all be nourished together. Let us all work together with great vigor. May our studies shine and illumine our intellects. May we not hate each other. Let there be peace, peace, and peace. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hari Om, Shalom, Sai Ram, Namaste. Offering our collective presence in love to Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, praying to him to help us see together, listen together, be together. While we study this Chamakam Prashna, 7th Anuvakam today, yesterday we were contemplating on the yagna, and there are two parts to this yagna that we were talking about yesterday. What is the yagna? As we were contemplating yesterday, what does yajna mean? Please don't simply say sacrifice. What is yajna?
Action.
Action. Action towards, yes, thank you, Auntie. That is action. Yes, there are two types of actions we are engaged in. Anyone else, please? The question is, what is yajna? Sairam, please.
Sakama karma and Nishkama karma.
Can you speak in English, Auntie?
Sakama, doing with Nishkama karma is without expecting any result. Sakama is with a purpose. I mean, you do action with expecting some result. Two types of karmas, action.
No, what is yajna?
Action with collective consciousness.
Shekharji, it is also, you said, it's a yagna is a sacrifice, should be happening with us all the time, collectively.
Sairam, it's staying connected with the inner self.
Mm-hmm.
Sairam, service also constitute yajna.
It is also a witness to the inner truth.
Okay.
Action with sacred love towards loving oneness.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, it is a constant visual yajna.
Constant vigil. Okay, very good. Very, very nice. Very beautiful contributions. Anybody else? Please speak up, because if you have a perspective, please offer it in the yajna.
Yajna Kalpadam, you said it is only for the universal peace. We are doing yagna. That's
No, but what is yajna? I know
Is
it's
it-
for universal peace we are doing yajna, but what is yajna?
offering everything, nothing to keep everything.
Nothing to keep. Okay. Yes, Suresh.
Is it samyukkritaha?
What does that mean, sir? Sir, explain in English, sir.
That is doing it together.
So if you don't do it together, then it is not yajna.
Is it individual yajna and then samishti yajna? That is, doing it together.
But what is yajna, sir?
Connection.
Yes,
Action
somebody
that
said.
you take to be in constant integrated awareness.
Action. Yeah, Sairam. Was that Sada? Yes, Sada.
Yes, Saram Vijay Garu. Yes, this is Sada.
Okay. Yes, Bibu.
Be connected. So I think, to me, I think these are the rituals to drive or channel the divine energy into the instruments.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Bibu.
Be connected.
Yajna is to be connected. Okay.
Shekhar garu, yagna means offering with devotion and worship, as a worship to. It's an offering without any selfish motive.
Okay. Anybody else? That your perspective is not heard?
Saira, is it
Yes.
first we see alone ourselves, and we are not lonely, but we are seeing everything alone, and then we are seeing everything together, and it's like a constant vigil that of finding a true self within.
Yes. Thank you, Kirti. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Anyone else? Have you, if your perspective is not heard about what yajna is, please speak up.
Action to be pure awareness.
Action to be pure awareness. Okay. Thank you, Zelimir.
Attentive love towards the one alone.
Attentive love towards the one alone. Beautiful. Has anyone has to share more about what they feel a yajna is? Yajna.
Serve all. It's a word.
Yes, somebody already said service is yajna. Thank you. Yes, fundamentally, we are all saying something to do with some doing, some action. That action could be vigil, that action could be truly service, that action could be emptying yourself constantly, and that action could be the vigil towards not allowing or anything to take place within that is not who you truly are. That action could be filling it with something that is more in the context of love towards all. That action, fundamentally, what we are all saying, that one thing is there is a constant effort towards two things. There's a constant effort towards, number one, emptying that what doesn't belong, allowing that to be filled with the oneness. Emptying is the first step. If you empty, automatically something will come and fill in it, because empty space within, empty the space. It's currently filled with so much of garbage, if you truly look at it. So in this context of what we are calling, what are we emptying?
Or evil tendencies.
Yes, sir.
What are we emptying? What are
Various vessels.
the vessels? Yes, thank you. Thank you, Auntie. Be present to what we are studying. Yesterday I said there are all these vessels. All these vessels that are used for yagna, they have to be first empty. Only after they're empty, they can be filled. And the context of this filling is you don't put an effort to fill automatically. If the moment you recognize that all these vessels within us that are doing all these functionalities, then what happens? This is what's called a nyasa. This is what is called the ritual of filling the vessels with the soma juice for soma yajna. This is the process of action of fundamentally what we are sacrificing is who we are not. Just like The moment the light comes in, there is absolutely no darkness whatsoever. The moment this awareness of all this stuff that is within us is instilled, who is emptying? That's the next question. Who is filling? What is it getting filled with? Brothers and sisters, we are not doing this Rudra Jnana Yajna for the sake of very simply knowing the meanings of these mantras. It's truly a genuine effort for us to be present to this, and in this connectivity that we are all invoking together, we will raise our own inner awareness, and once that is dawned, we will say that I am is the only truth and there is nothing else, and that is seeing that. And in the context of what we were talking yesterday as seeing that as the Indra, now what we're talking about is the space aspect of it. And the space aspect of it is created by two things, actually only one thing called the thought. This is very, very subtle and deep, and I don't want to spend the time going through that, but you get the concept of this. Just if we only observe, and have the ability to watch the thought, then we will realize how much of incredible divine elixir is filled through the entire system. Amshu is the very first in this. Yesterday, I believe I said 38, but actually the number of things that are invoked in this are not 38, 28. 28. And this 28, very quickly go through what these are. Amshu is the divine elixir. And that divine elixir is, what is the divine elixir?
Amrita.
What is that in English?
Love.
Love, yes. Love is Amrita. Amrita, we went through that. Rasmi is light. Love and light. What is truly filling, getting filled with? The light is filling and the love is filling. Then adabhyaha. These are specific types of vessels used in Soma Yajna, and I have to keep saying that because all the 28 are different types of vessels. Adabhyaha means dabhyaha means one which can be approachable. Adabhyaha means the one which cannot be approached. Then adhipati. Adhipati is in which the curds are filled during the Soma Yajna. Dhi means what? Dhi is intellect.
Intellect.
Adhipati means the Lord who is above the intellect, or the master above the intellect. Amshu. What is Amshu?
Love.
Thank you. Upamshu. Next one is Upamshu. Upa means below that love. What is below the love? Love is not an emotion. Love is not, this is a very, very important thing to remember all the time. All the human values that we know, the Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa, are the 5 human values of the truth, righteousness, love, peace, and non-violence. They are not emotions that we are usually associating them with. But below them, you can experience them as emotions. Like love, as an emotion, is experienced as compassion. Love, as an emotion, is experienced as sharing. Love, as an emotion, is experienced as empathy by the higher mind. Love, as an emotion, is experienced as sympathy by a lower mind. But love in itself, Amshu, that is not an emotion. You can do this exercise. I think the Balvikas, the SSC students, SSC teachers have a lot of material. Swami's SSC, the Sai spiritual education system has very beautifully created materials. I know Jeru Auntie is one of such teachers for many, many years. It's such a beautiful exercise to teach to our children, to actually help them understand that these emotions are not the values themselves, but through these emotions we connect to the higher values. Upam Shu means those emotional aspects. But Upam Shu in the external ritualistic yagna is the vessel that is used to offer to Venus with the juice soma. And now you see the connectivity of the outer yagna and the inner yagna, how beautifully they are connected. Venus is the planet of emotions. Antaryamaha. Antaryamaha. Antaha Yamaha. The one who is the indweller. Filling that inner space with love now. And this space in Sanskrit is called Akasha. Akash is space. But this Akash by itself is not something that is a perceivable object. However, when it is compartmentalized in various places, it gets the name by which it is compartmentalized. A space surrounded by four walls of a building is called building space. Building space. Mathakasha. A space that is in a pot is called pot space. Mathakasha. The space that's in the heart is a heart space. Hridakasha. The space that is created by the movement of the thought is thought space, Chidakasha. Then Aindra Vayavaha. In the context of the yajna, you are offering the soma juice in a vessel that is associated with the action of the wind. Here, Indra is not the seer, Indra is the action. Aindra Vayavaha means the movement of the wind. What is the movement of the wind within us?
Breathing.
Huh?
Breathing.
Yes, breath. Have we ever connected that there is space created through breathing? That there is this movement of the breath, and in the movement of the breath, there is space created. How are you filling that space? With what are you filling that space? Are you even connected to that space? How do you fill your breath with this elixir of love? Are you all with me? Are you all feeling this with me, please? Are you all truly connecting? Feeling means not feeling in the context of an emotional feeling, but the intensity of what we are really observing is so powerful that this is nothing to do with asking something. This is about Chame, may I be aware of that. I am that. Who are you? You are that. The movement that is happening through the breath. Don't look at this as some kind of a philosophical discourse or a philosophical satsang or a philosophical study. This is not philosophy. Every single thing that we are talking here is within us. If there is somebody who cannot connect to any of these words that we are talking about, within us, seeing within us, how simple and so absolutely practical. No philosophy here. When we're talking about what are the instruments within us that are even unapproachable, adabhyaha. Can you think of what is an instrument within us that is unapproachable? It is impractical to even be aware of that. What is that? What is that, my friends? That is what we are talking about. What we do not know, we do not know.
Consciousness.
Yes. What is even unapproachable. Can you be, when you are aware of your awareness, which is beyond your mind and intellect? It's not about knowing. The mind is the knower. The intellect is the processor. That's not the tools I am talking about. That is adabhyaha. Now you see how incredibly systematically how this love, the light, is flowing through that which is unapproachable, which is the consciousness. Then the next level, which is going through the adhipati, which is the intellect. Then it is going to upamshu, associated with the mind of the feelings and the emotions. Then going into the heart, which is the indweller, the antaryamaha. Then that antaryamaha, the aham, is what we are talking. That aham has his chitta vritti, that is the movement associated with it. That movement of that antaryami is coming through as the movement of the breath. And the movement of the breath is associated with the attributes of equal-mindedness, which is sattva, and the tamo guna, which is maitra, varunaha. Then the vessels associated with the twin forces within, which is called the ida, pingala, that is going through the entire system of your plexus of the chakras. And then you're talking about all the vessels now are filled in their respective positions with this divine elixir of the love and the light. Pratiprasthanaha. All the vessels are in their respective place and filled with the light and the love. Now, this is yagna happening right now. Right now, a yagna is happening. Just be present to that yagna. The 10 things that we talked about. This is completely yajna. How it went from love and light all the way to pratiprasthanaha. Pratiprasthanaha. Sthana means place. Prasthana means stably placed. Prasthanaha. Everything respectively positioned and filled with this light and love. Love is light, light is love. One is seeing, the other is being. Love is being, light is seeing. Anyone has? Are we all connected?
We are breathing.
We are breathing, yes.
Yes,
We are,
Sairam.
we are breathing. That is Aindravahyavaha. I asked the question, what is the space you are filling in the gap between your breathing? And that each and every one of those words are completely 100% practical. One time I heard this from, I don't know, it's one of the Swami students sharing. I don't want to take on the names, but he was saying they were all in this indoor auditorium that Swami opened in Puttaparthi for the boys to play basketball and other games. When the inauguration happened, there was a basketball game that was started. Swami was sitting in the chair, and then there was this sound of the ball, tup, 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 and it was reverberating loud because there is complete silence. And then Swami looked at the boy and said, in Telugu, of course, which he translated to, it's too loud and noisy, no? And the boy said, yes, Swami. Then he said, you listen to the sound, I listen to the silence between the two sounds. And then he told, focus on the silence between the two sounds. Aindravayavaha. Every time there is the movement of the breath, and in that breath, between the breaths, there is space and silence. The more and more you intently focus on that, the movement of the thought will be equally controlled. Pranabandhanan liyamanasam ekachintanan nashametyada. My 30 booklet of Bhagavan Ramana's Upadesha Saram. Shetty garu. When Aindra Vayavaha, the movement of the breath, and the space between the movement of those breaths, let that space be now filled with love and light. When you empty that, it would automatically be filled. But we are not even aware that there is a space between the breaths. No, there is a space between two thoughts too, just like there is a space between two breaths. The more you focus on the space that is created between these two thoughts, then you create a psychological time, and the chronological time is irrelevant because you create psychological time. Because time is movement. And we are filling that time with completely useless activities and junk and garbage, brothers and sisters. But when that time, chronological time, is nothing to do with your psychological time, as you create the space, and when that is filled automatically with love and light. I already went through Maitra, Varuna. Then in the context of the movement, then there are attributes like Sattva and Tamo Gunas, Maitra. We already went through this. Mitra, Mitraschama, Indraschame, Varunaschama, Indraschama. Now you see, there are repetition of the things that are in the sixth Anuvaka that are now in this Anuvaka too. But what's the difference?
Indra is not invoked.
Yes, in the context of the sixth Anuvaka, you are present and you are seeing. You are seeing here, that's the light piece. Here is the love piece. Idam dra, you are seeing Mitra, you are seeing Varuna, you are seeing all those things. The ability to see. Once you see, then it will be clear what to fill it with. If you can't see, you can't be. If you don't see, you don't know what to do about it. Once you see, what is the seeing thing? Yesterday, we were talking about the study circle, the seeing part of it. What is it that we are seeing? Seeing that with clarity completely gives you the ability to do something about it, the action, the yajna. Now, do you act and do you see it, or do you see and you act it? The better process is to see and do rather than, and be, rather than do, see, and be. Too late. Are we, is that making
Sairam, can you say again what you said yesterday in the study circles about the light and the object, please, to be record here that the object only exists when it receives life. It's not, it's, you make an analogy yesterday, and I would like you, if you remember, if you can repeat it.
Oh, if I can't remember what I said yesterday, I'm in deep trouble, Cecilia. This is not about even remembering it. This is complete awareness of it. This thing is called Druk, Drushya, Viveka, the seer and the seen. And it is beautifully expounded as one of the pedagogies, or what is called Siddhantas. Drik Drishya Viveka is a compilation of a few shlokas on the seer and the seen. And yesterday we were talking about what is the seer and the seen. And when we connect to this from a very practical point of view, it's a siddhanta, means a pedagogy, how you explain a very complex philosophical thing for people to connect first to the outer level and then go deeper and deeper level. For example, the eyes. I think I have shared this before in this Rudra Jnana Yajna. I may be repeating some of this, I don't know. But I will repeat it anyway because it's worth repeating, the seeing of it. What is seeing is different from what is being seen. This cup is what is seen. What is seen is the eye. These two are different objects. What is seeing is one. What are being seen are many. Right now, it's seeing the cup, it is seeing the table, it's seeing the phone, it's seeing the computer, it's seeing the screen. It is seeing so many things. What is seeing is one. What are being seen are many. What is seeing is not moving. What are being seen are constantly moving. This is not moving, but the eyelids on the top of it are moving. What this wind, everything, objects are moving. This is not moving. What is seeing cannot be seen, or what is seeing is not seen. And then you ask the question, no, I go in front of a mirror, I can see it. No, you're not actually seeing this. It's an aberration. What the reflection of this eye is not the source. It's an aberration. Now you see. Now you see. This is the now you see. This is the reason why we constantly say, are you seeing it? Are you seeing it? Let us look at it together. What is hearing is one. What are being heard are many. What is hearing is not what is different from what is being heard. What is hearing is not moving or changing. What is being heard are constantly changing. What is hearing is not heard. What is feeling is one. What are felt are many. What is feeling is not moving. What are all the feelings are constantly moving. What is feeling is different from what is being felt. What is feeling is not felt. Apply, this is what's called drishya viveka. So then this Indra that we were talking in fifth Anuvaka is that seer, the witness. And in the context of what we are now, once it is seen clearly, then what is taken away is the error. This, we are repeating the same thing over and over again. What are the three things, the three fundamental flaws associated with us not connecting to this? The three fundamental flaws. Yes. The three things, the essence of Sri Rudram, three things.
Purity. Oh my God.
Purity, unity, divinity.
Unity and divinity, right.
Now, pratiprasthanascha me. 10 different things that we have filled with. Then the rest of them. Shukrascha me. Shukra is the ability to reproduce, that tools that enable to replicate and recreate. How is that happening? Through love. Manthi. Manthi is the one that is the axis that is going through a moving object. In a moving wheel, the axis on which the rotation is happening is not moving. It cannot move. If it moves, the object around which it is rotating is not stable anymore. Yes? Like a wheel. We know this. The changeless in the changing. Manthi chame. Agrayanaha. That is associated with fire, the vessel of discrimination. Vaishvadevaha. We studied what this is in the last one. Vishve chame deva indraschame. Vaishva devaschame. Anybody remembers?
Vaishva is Agni.
No, auntie.
You
That is
talked about,
Vaishwanara.
yeah, you talked about seasons and tastes.
Yes,
In the
season and taste.
experience and in feelings. I think
Yes.
that's what I remember. Thank you.
Vaishva devaschame. Those be filled with the divine elixir of love and light, the Soma. Dhruva. Dhruva Dhruva means completely stable and still and focused. Now Vaishwanara, that's what she was referring to. Vaishwanara is the fire, not Vishvedeva. Ritu Grahaha. Ritu Grahascha. Ritu. Ritu is repetition. Ritu Grahascha. One which is catching the repetition. What is the repetitive thing that's happening all the time within us? Repetitive without our own knowledge. One thing you can make, one thing you can be connected with, repeating all the time without any effort. What is that?
The heart,
Heartbeat.
the heartbeat.
Heartbeat. Yeah, I'm glad people are connected.
Day
Heartbeat.
and night.
No, it's our within us, no?
Thoughts.
No, thoughts are not repeating. Thoughts are repeating because you have no control over it. Heartbeat, yes. People have said heartbeat. Now, Ritu means people interpret the word Ritu in today's context as what? Hello, my Indian friends. Ritu. Seasons. Yeah. What is a season? It's a repetition over time, chronologically. Ritu Grahascha. Being aware of the repetitions within us, but not be controlled by those. This is a little more deeper. I'll let you all reflect on this. If everything is explained, then what happens is there won't be any effort to focus on Ritagrahascha. Then there is a Ritagraha, there is a Atigraha, Atigrahyascha. Atigrahyascha. Grahya means to comprehend or grasp. Grahya means to grasp, not even comprehend. Grasp is grahya. Grahya. Ati grahya, beyond grasping. Ati grahyascha. Then there is Aindra Agnaha. Now, by this time, you may be kind of wondering, oh, what are these words? And are these really in this seventh Chamakam? Yeah, that is where the mind has to go back to. First of all, it is Amshu Chame becomes Amshush Chame. Because the Sha and the Anuswaram is coming, it becomes Agum Shush Chame. Little bit of clarity on why the Gu comes. Agum suscha me rasmischa me da bhyascha me adhipatischa ma upagum suscha me antar yamascha ma aindravaya vascha me maitra varunascha ma asvinascha me pratiprasthanascha me. Ashvinascha me is the movement of the subtle energies, the two twin energies within us, which is called the Ida and the Pingala, which are moving through the space of the spinal cord. And that space is filled with Ida and Pingala. And those Ida and Pingala are now love and light that are completely filling the space in your spinal cord. Ashvinascha me pratiprasthanascha me चक्रश्च मे मन्थी च आग्रयणश्च मे वैश्वदेवश्च मे ध्रुवश्च मे वैश्वानरश्च मरुत् ग्रहाश्च मे अति ग्राह्याश्च म ऐन्द्राग्नश्च मे. Now ऐन्द्राग्नश्च मे, movement of the fire within. We went through how many different fires are moving. There are 39 different fires. But actually in the context of Mahanyasam, there are 16 fundamental fires that are described and how they move in different parts of the body. Is Arun online?
No.
What are the 16 different fires? People that are chanting Mahanyasam all the time. That's why I called on him. Mahanyasam people are people that chant Mahanyasam on this call. Anybody that chants Mahanyasam?
Yes.
Yes. What are the 16 different fires? Not trying to put you on spot, but this is where, yeah, Sairam?
Temperature, it's one of them.
No, I'm asking a very specific question for those on this call that chant Mahanyasam. Please do the homework if you are a Mahanyasam performer. They are called Shodashanga Raudri Karanams. Shodasha, 16. Anga means places, limbs. Raudri Karanam, where you are actually invoking the fire as a Rudra in 16 different places. And there, in the context of that, they are describing how many different fires are present from all the way from the Sikha, which is the back, all the way to the Pada, your feet. And when you study those, you will understand. Vibhurasi pravahano raudrenānikena pahima agnepi pruhima mamahi gumsihi. Vibhurasi pravahano. First fire. Then vanhirasi havyavahano. Then there is like this, there are described. Shvatrosi prachetasa. Then there is a Havyavahana. There are all these different types of fires that are moving from the back of the head, which is the Sikha, all the way to the tip of the toe, Pada. All those are filling now in these mantras that we're talking about, Mahanyasam. Vibhurasi pravahano raudrenānikena pahimagnepi prihima mahigumsihi. Now you see, this is very beautiful invocations, and this is nothing to do with the so-called Hindu ritual aspect of it. It's completely spiritual. And I keep saying that because only to wash ourselves off that we are following some ritual Yes, we are following a ritual, but in the context of the spirit of understanding what is it that we are chanting makes this truly experiential in nature. And in this kind of a mantra, we are saying, may I invoke the fire, but without the heat and only the light. May the heat aspect of the fire not hurt me, but yet may I be benefited by the warmth of love and the light that is coming through this fire within me. And that is the Shodashanga Raudri Karanam. Pahima Gne Pipruhi Ma Mahigumsihe. Himsi means hurt. Mahigumsihe. May that not hurt. What does not hurt? That fire, the burning aspect of it not hurt us, but the warmth of love and the light associated with this fire, may all these places in my body be filled with the light and the warmth of love associated with this Agni, movement of this Agni. Aindragnascha me. That is what we are studying. Aindragnascha. Now, second time, Vaishvadevascha comes here. It is the movement of the emotions. Emotion. Bhagavan says very beautifully, pleasure is. What is pleasure?
Interval between
Time. Yeah.
Ananda. No.
Interval between two
sorrows.
pains.
Yeah.
Interval between two pains. So if there is two pains and there is a space between the two pains, that interval between those two pains is called pleasure. There is no separate thing called pleasure. How incredibly Bhagavan explains this. But yet we quote Bhagavan so beautifully, effortlessly. But when it comes to the pain, we know, oh, this pain, Bhagavan said it is a passing cloud. So I don't have to suffer from this pain. The pain is there. But if I allow it to pass, then I create the space between the two pains. And that space between the two pains is Vaishvadevascha me, Marutvatiyaschcha me. Marut, again, movements associated with different aspects of the vessels in the body. And I explained them already. How many different maruts are there before? Because this Marutaschama, Indraschama came before. Who remembers what those maruts are? Sairam, are people reading the notes? Am I talking to myself most of the time? Are we in this together?
Yes.
I think it's 11
Yes.
gods associated with wind and rain.
Yes. And in the context of that, I mentioned that there are subtle movements of the wind associated with your eyelids. It's called karkara. And there are like that. There is movement of the wind when the wind is dissolving from the pulmonary alveoli as carbon dioxide at the interface of the space between the alveoli and the blood vessels in the pulmonary system. There is carbon dioxide that is dissolving in that space and becomes what, doctors? When carbon dioxide is dissolved in the blood, what is it called, doctors?
Carbonic acid.
Bicarbonate, yes, carbonic acid. So what happens when the balance between the carbon dioxide as air and the bicarbonate or carbonic acid, the balance between those two are disturbed? What happens, doctors?
Accumulation of the CO2 in the body.
But what is the immediate reaction of the body, doctors?
To expel it out.
As what, doctors?
As CO2.
What is the physical manifestation, doctor? It's called hiccup.
Expiration.
Yeah. It is a hiccup. See, now what we're talking, a simple process of a hiccup, which is exhalation of this imbalance in the body because of the disturbance created between two substances, one as gas and the other as in liquid form, causes this immediate reaction. What is that? That is the wind. If that doesn't happen, what happens? If these eyelids are not splashing, what happens? And what are these movements and the spaces associated with our own body? Now, have we ever focused on these things and said, oh my God, through all this process, one guy is effortlessly, synchronously working through me, filling the space and ability to fill that space with this incredible thing called the love. And without that love of that God during the time of imbalance between bicarbonate and carbon dioxide causes this incredible experience of the hiccup or a sneeze that is happening because of the whatever called exhalation. What is all this happening due to love? What is this getting filled with? Love. Marutvati Yaschame. Because of this Mahendra. Maha Indra means the great, the greatest overseer. Now, Indra here is not the Indra as in the movement. The Indra here is the Indra that is overseeing all of this. And this Indra as the overseer, then the Aditya, the one who is indivisible. Diti means to divide. Aditi means no division. Aditya means the one who is indivisible. What is indivisible? Space. And then Savitri. What is Savitri? Life sustaining force. Saraswati, the I am, awareness. Now you see how we started with Amshu, all the way now to filling. What is all of this happening? Because of this incredible divine love, the overseer, the Aditya, which is, and the Savitri, then the Saraswati. We are simply looking at these mantras and never ever connected in the context of this Paushnashchame. Paushna, Pusha. The word Pusha. Who is Pusha?
Sun, it is sun.
Yeah, but what is the word associated with Pusha? Aditya is also sun, no?
So,
Savit is also sun.
The one that nourishes the body, gives the nourishment.
Pusha means basically one which allows you to be aware of. Where is that word Pusha coming? Hello? Vishwaveda. Swastinaha Pusha Vishwaveda. Patnivataha. Hariyojanaha. Hari Yojanaha. Yojana is associated with space. Hari Yojanaha means this ability of filling the time and the space. And in the context of Patni Vataha means the energies. All these above energies that are filled over time and space, filling with the love and the light. This is all in this particular Anuvaka. I'm so sorry I lost perspective of time here, so my apologies, 15 minutes over. But this particular Anuvaka is now we understand what is a Soma Yajna. Soma is this, from a Yajna point of view, Soma is the elixir, the divine elixir that is offered to gods in Yajna so that they vitalize the entire system for universal peace. And that is the outer Yajna, the Bahir Yajna. The Antar Yajna, which is nothing to do with what we are calling as this outer Yajna of different 28 vessels, etc. And this 28 vessels, what they do and what they are used for, all of that. There are 28 vessels within yourself, and connect to these 28 vessels and fill them with the elixir of love and fill them with light. And hence what happens? There is complete universal peace within us. This is the essence of this Anuvakam. And I'm sorry when I asking questions, when I'm putting people on, thanks to sister there that was answering all my questions as a doctor. Thank you so much. Anuradha was answering those questions. We are present. We have to be present. And what we are doing in this yajna is only for the peace within, to address the pieces outside. The pieces outside are constantly dividing this mind. The peace within will look at the pieces but not be affected by those. A such hai, wo such hai. Is this true or is that true? This is a different story. We'll go into it one of these days. Is this true or is that true? And if there are any questions on this Anuvaka, let's capture them. Please give me 5 more minutes and we'll wrap this up. Any questions, comments?
Madam.
Yes, ma.
So, first of all, I feel that it took me such a long time to enter the silence. And then I heard Swami telling one of the students, he had a tape recorder and he was very excited. And then he went to Baba, and then Baba said, oh, he was explaining the tape recorder, how, and then Baba asked a lot of questions. And then Swami said, you're so excited about this, listening to this recorder. Have you ever listened inside you? So that boils down to this Nada Yoga, or where the Omkara can be heard inside us. So that's kind of interesting, but you know, I mean, I'm not expecting anything. It's just that it is beyond silence. So to reach silence itself is hard. And then when Baba talks about listening to the Omkara inside the body or any object, it's so. Can you comment on that?
listening to the Omkara. I can't speak, Amma, because you asked me to listen to the Omkara.
I don't know. So just feel, why is it that, I mean, it's the sadhana of a person that takes towards that, because
No, there is no sadhana. Just sit down and listen to the Omkara within you. See what happens. No sadhana required. What is all this sadhana stuff that we are imposing on ourselves and all of this stuff? Too much of meditation, imaginations, hallucinations, expectations, all of the. When you have an expectation of becoming something through an experience, that trap will never ever get you out to be present to the Omkara within you. This is the very simplest truth, and I don't mean to denigrate anybody that are doing all this kind of intense practices and trying to get people to imagine something and all of that stuff. What you shared just now with Bhagavan sharing with a student, have you put an effort to listen to the Omkara within you? That's the question he asked. And the moment I heard that, and now you ask the question of what is listening to Omkara? What am I listening to? Then automatically the very first thing that happens is, what am I listening to? And what are you, if you sit down and listen to something, what are you listening to?
the breath.
Yeah, completely without any effort, without thinking anything, the mind immediately goes to the breath. And when you are listening to that breath, put an effort to listen to the breath without any thought trying to disturb that listening. 100% like a hawk listening to the breath. Just see what happens. Experience what happens. See what happens. See.
Thank you.
Just see what happens. And you are saying,
I just felt why I wasted my time in the outside world, why I could not get this before.
it was always there. The most incredible experience is just listening to the breath. And there are so many levels of listening to this breath. And when we are listening to the breath, and we went through this in the study circle the other day, you can actually monitor, are you actually listening to the breath or something? Now, in this context of this modern world, they create all these tools. I mean, I have a little granddaughter, and I see that they put this white noise around her so that she can sleep effortlessly. Yeah, this white noise within us are what they call ocean waves that you bombard your system with, all of that stuff to calm you down, and all of this meditation practices, everything Kundalini, Kriya Yoga, that yoga, this bhoga, that bhoga, this roga, that roga. I'm not denigrating anyone. I'm just very simply saying how complex the mind has turned itself into when the simplest sadhana that was ever given to a human being by any yogi or any bhakta or any jnani, and Bhagavan Ramana described it in very simple two sentences. That listening to the breath with complete focus and attention, and then see what happens. How the space between the two breaths, that you can now start observing the space between the two breaths, and then what happens after that. It has to be experienced and practiced. Cannot be truly explained what happens when you listen to the breath. Each and every one of us, the only thing that we can connect to as an action that is happening within us 21,600 times effortlessly happening is simply our breathing. Don't do anything. If you have time, 2 minutes between your chores, just sit down. Don't do any mantra, tantra. All of that stuff is, again, another way of enticing the mind to become something. But very simply put, you don't have to be a Hindu. You don't have to know any mantra. You just have to be a human being. And in that context of that human being, if you simply ask the question, how long can this mind focus on my breath, and see what happens? And that is Omkara sadhana. So what's happening when you are listening to the breath? You will listen to the sound of an ocean wave very clearly first, and then you will see. And then you will see the sound. Where the ah becomes the exhalation, the oo becomes the focus, and the Bhagavan has, in a different discourse to, I read this in an article by Fani Banda, one of the greatest Zoroastrian followers of Bhagavan, where Bhagavan explained to him on how many different ways Omkara is experienced by the mind. And that's it, all a different topic. But I don't want to bombard you with pre-formed experiences of somebody else. This is our own to experience. This is our own sadhana. Alone, our own, alone. Jai Sai Ram. I'm so sorry I took so much time of yours today. And one thing I want to share with you today, thanks to Sister Sonia Rodriguez. And yesterday she asked this question. This year, 2021, is exactly the 10th year after Bhagavan's Aradhana Mahotsavam. You know, this is the 10th year anniversary of the Maha Samadhi of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, and her love for Swami is so immense. She asked Shekharji, what are we doing for this? And then we just looked at this before the satsang started, and amazingly, the Easter Sunday is exactly 10 Sundays away from. And again, the other thing that we connected to is Bhagavan's Aradhana is on an Easter Sunday, when both the Son and the Father have expanded as love and light into every being. So the context of that, and 17th is the next and we have the Uttarayanam, that is the Sankranti, coming on the 15th, and right after that in Uttarayanam, we will start the year after the Sankranti from the Sunday, which is the 17th of January, and for 10 weeks, which will be exactly the Easter Sunday, which is the April 4th is the Easter Sunday. We will do our daily sadhana and conclude the Easter Sunday with offering to the divine love as both the Father and the Son. That is what we have discussed this morning. Thank you, Sonia, for inspiring us with your incredible love and filling the space and the time in our lives, starting for 10 weeks of sadhana again. And we will send a sign up and an email to everyone to join this incredible times of presence. With perfect vision of 2020, we will be connecting to the one. Therefore, it becomes 2021. Sai Ram. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu.
Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka 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 Sukhino Bhavantu.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sai Ramal, before you sign off, apologies. There's one other important thing I want to mention. And again, this is all Bhagavan's beautiful timing and Leela. Next Saturday, after the Rudra Jnana Yajna, we will do Ekadasha Rudrabhishekam to Bhagavan Panchamukheshwara that you are seeing in the background here. And I request all of you who would like to be part of the sadhana to join that. So we will, on Saturday, the 16th, the day after Sankranti, we will do Ekadash Rudrabhishekam to Panchamukheshwara. And from Sunday, we will start the sadhana associated with Bhagavan's. This is a sadhana aradhana. That is the title of this, aradhana sadhana. Okay, that is what we're doing from the 17th. So I hope you all can make yourself available and be part of this beautiful sadhana in aradhana. Jai Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, thank you.
Thank you.
Sai Ram, thank you very much.
Thank you.